Saturday, October the 5th, USKA Fight Sports returns to its home, the Parkview Inn on Bulldog Drive in Allentown, Pennsylvania, with another pro Muay Thai card. Get your tickets at USKAFightsports.com, USKAFightsports.com.
Nick, you're going to be fighting for USKA in Allentown on October 5th. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience here and tell them a little about yourself?
All right. Well, my name is Nick Simone, and I'm a 4th degree black belt in Tang Soo Do Karate. I'll be fighting October 5th against Casey Kilgos.
So it's Nick Simone. I've been messing that name up.
It's okay. I'm going to let it slide this one last time.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Great attitude you have. So you fought for us once before.
Yep.
It wasn't the ideal circumstances. You came into the game a little late. We rushed into a fight. That didn't go your way. But let's pick it up after that fight. Tell us how you felt after that fight. I believe that was back in May. And were your thoughts the same then as they are now? Did you want to continue and do this again, or were you done with this? Where were your thoughts after that fight?
Well, it was funny after that last fight. It was a very humbling experience. It was a good experience for me to go through that because my background is karate, and a lot of my competition has been in point sparring, and that was normally my area of expertise, and I utilized a lot of the kicks and all that kind of stuff. And that was my first kickboxing fight, let alone first time stepping in a ring and getting hit to the head like that. So I took the fight because I wanted to prove to myself as a martial artist how far I could go with the sport, if you will. And I wanted to ultimately prove to myself that somebody with my background belongs in the ring like that. It just turned out that the last time around, Trey was the better fighter. My coach stopped the fight late in the first round with like maybe 19 seconds to go. I asked him why he did that, and he told me that, and because he was a personal friend of mine, and he has a professional boxing background, 28-0. And he's been in the game a lot with that. So he just told me that, it's your first amateur debut, with only realistically having 1 week of a fight camp with him. He says it's just not worth getting injured. I mean, he knew that I fought hard. He knew that, I wanted to get the KO or at least to win. And I had that fighting mentality and spirit. But at the end of the day, he was looking out for my safety, and he wanted to get back to the drawing board and have the appropriate amount of training and preparation for the next one. So It's almost like one of those situations where you live to die another day.
Right. I want to take that in a couple different directions. Number one, you did have some success in that fight. You cut him, or at least busted open his nose. I remember after the fight, his face was all bloody. I mean, that was a very action-packed fight. But let's leave that one go for a second.
Right.
We're doing this new thing, the NAFMA KO Fight Series, where we teamed up with NAFMA, and we're taking karate guys and giving them the opportunity against other karate guys, which Taekwondo, everything, and that would probably have been a great situation for you. We just didn't have that in place. But what advice would you give to someone coming from the karate world? And this is going to lead in. I got two questions here. One, what advice would you give to people coming from the karate world to get into the full contact arena? And two, how has your preparation changed given that experience to this next fight? So they're kind of the same question. What advice would you give to these guys, and how has your training and preparation changed going into the second one?
Well, for somebody who has a background like me going into a completely different style of fighting, my best recommendation would be to keep an open mind and not stick to one style, because ultimately, if you're a karate guy like me that is coming from like point fighting or anything like that, and you're going into a ring where there's knockouts and a lot of full contact, essentially, my advice would be just to to train for those rules and to not stick to one style. I mean, it's funny looking back at my fight and looking how, because I look up to Bruce Lee a lot with like my martial arts background, and he was always about like not sticking to one style, and being open to all of it and being able to adapt and overcome to any given situation. And it's funny how a lot of all that makes sense, coming from my end.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, I never fought in your guys' fights before. I never did any kickboxing, boxing, Thai boxing, or anything like that. So it's like at the end of the day, I stuck to what I knew best, which was my style of fighting. And again, only having 1 week to prepare for it, essentially, even though I have 15 plus years of karate experience, isn't enough, and I wasn't in shape. So I mean, you have to stay in shape. And that was one of the things that my coach said to me too. You can be the best fighter in the world, but if you're not in shape, you're going to lose. So
absolutely.
So I mean, that's really what we've been doing this whole time, ever since my last fight, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't take the last event either, or at least asked for it, because I knew that to give myself and to give you guys a legit show for my style of fighting, or at least my background, I owed it to myself, and I owed it to you guys to be as prepared as possible. So that's why I'm taking October 5th one.
That's awesome. So after the July fight, I think the fight was July 20th, right? That's when your fight was, or your May? No, your fight was in May. May 18th, yeah. Right? What day did you get back in the gym? What was the first thing you addressed when you got back to the gym? After all the talk, after all the motivation, after this is what we need to do, the first thing you did when you got back to the gym. When did you get back to the gym? What was the first thing?
I took about a couple of weeks off, just to kind of self-reflect and get my mind right. I mean, like you said, it was a good show for what it was worth, but for me, it was a horrible loss to take in. So I just took the time to mentally focus on that. There was some things that I've been dealing with emotionally too, personally, that I just wanted to make sure that I was right with. I lost about 3 years ago, I lost my father. And recently, about a couple of weeks ago, I lost my grandfather too. So there was a lot of mental battles that I had to, fight and, get my mind right. A couple of weeks after the fight, I took a lot of time for myself to heal physically. And then when we got back to the drawing board, me and my coach, we just kicked it into high gear at the gym, going back to the basics, technique wise. He focused a lot of my training on the boxing style end of things, because I knew that the kicking and all that would have, came back to me in time. But we focused a lot of our energy on that and getting myself conditioned for, the next one.
Mm-hmm. What do you know about your opponent leading into this next fight?
I watched this video. I tried to, look at what he had to offer. It's my understanding that it was his first amateur fight too. I know what school he's coming from, and it looks like it's a really good school, and they have a lot of good athletes there. And just going off of his last fight, I mean, he looks like he can take a punch, and he can go the distance. So it's going to be a good challenge for me. Yeah,
his fight, I did lose his first fight, I believe, but that was a very good fight, very very action packed fight. So we kind of got like 2-0-1 guys going in there to hopefully to get that first win.
Right.
Anything else? I mean, I think this went really well. I'm excited to have you back. I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see how the boxing skills evolve. Anything else you want to say? People you want to thank here before we wrap this up?
No, I just want to thank you and USKA for giving me another shot at this, and hopefully it'll be a good show for everybody.
All right, good. You got some fans coming out following you. I know you're looking like tables and stuff, and you got the family coming. And
yeah, I got a lot of family coming. Some friends. I've been trying to promote it on social media too, so I know a lot of people want to come out and see me fight.
Good, great. Yeah. All right, Nick, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you in just about a little under 2 weeks, I guess.
All right, sounds good, Jerry. Thanks for your time, sir.
Take care, Nick.
All right, take care.
Saturday, October the 5th, USKA Fight Sports returns to its home, the Parkview Inn on Bulldog Drive in Allentown, Pennsylvania, with another pro Muay Thai card. Get your tickets at USKAFightsports.com, USKAFightsports.com.